Detective Comics 950. James Tynion the fourth writing, and we have 3 artists because there was 3 stories: Eddie Barrows, Alvaro Martinez, and Marcio Takara. So obviously we'll tackle story by story. The first one was sort of regular issue length kind of thing,
Yeah.
and it was about Orphan, and I thought this was freaking fantastic.
Oh, this was just phenomenal.
It was magical, is what I'd use.
What Tynion really drove home in the first couple pages is that Orphan is she has like a mental disability to where she actually can't communicate. Like she tries and she wants to.
Yeah.
And I never thought of it like that. I always thought, oh, she was just mute because being raised by assassins and you don't need to talk. And
do you know what it reminded me of in a weird way? It reminded me of like the friendly monster and like a monster, like, you know, well, it's King Kong or it's something like where they're trying to like communicate through various things, and what they used here is the ballet. They used the dance to like, and I actually love the opening where it starts off with this girl. You don't really know what it's about, and she's going to like practice. She's going to practice her ballet, and she's the narration, which is in third person, is talking about she believes in ghosts and is talking about that stuff, and then you realise that the ghost she's talking about is actually Orphan, who kind of follows and
you just see her popping up in the background
behind which I had to go back and check to see if she was in every panel, and she is. You just have to look.
It's
cool.
It's creepy as shit once you notice it.
Well, yeah, because if you don't know it's Orphan, right, you're just kind of like, oh, who's this?
It's kind of like, but you gotta imagine that's how she feels. It's like, oh shit, there's something there. Like,
but it breaks your heart though, because when she goes back at the end of the towards the end of the story, and she sees that the girl's talking to the police, and she's like, oh, it was this awful thing. It was like mimicking my dancing, but I don't know if it was toying with me before it ripped me apart. And it cuts to I say cuts to as if I'm talking about a movie. It goes to a panel of like her reaction. It's just Orphan, but she's got the mask on. You don't see her face, but you can see the sadness in her eyes, and it's something they've done really well all through this issue, or all through this series with Orphan. Which is really
I
cool.
tell you what is really impressive about this story. It's the first thing of this run that's made me go, oh, I want to go back and read her Batgirl stuff, because I have not read that.
Yeah, I've not read it either.
When you said that in the before I read this issue, you had said that in our comics thread in Mild Fuzz, and I thought you meant the Brian Q. Miller, Stephanie Brown Batgirl, and I got super stoked to read this. So I was like, oh, it's a spoiler issue.
It's all right.
Yeah, no.
Other Batgirl.
Yeah, but I read this and I felt the same way, as I want to know more about her, because I remember when she had debuted during, I think it was No Man's Land, is really where she became a major character. It was like this weird looking Batgirl costume, and she had the power to like mimic like fighting moves and whatnot. And here they really drove home her humanity and her relationship with her parents, and almost why she's called Orphan. Like, it's not just a cool sounding moniker, it's really who she is.
It really got into her head. I think using the third person narration was genius, because it was different from everyone else who gets narration boxes where it separated you from her. It put this extra wall, and it makes sense because it's Orphan and she doesn't communicate.
Yep.
And I love the parts where it's talking about how much she wants to say, but then she can't, and she'll just say no, or she'll say sorry, and it's just the one word.
She can only get out one word, and they're like, it kind of hints that she only knows like 20 words.
Yeah.
And it's so heartbreaking.
And then it gets to the end, and she goes back to her own place, and it talks about how all the emotions erupt, and she finally expresses herself, and it's just this full page spread of her dancing, and it's like her getting all her frustration and anger out.
Yep.
And then at the very end of the page, she just sort of breaks down and cries, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so sad.
It is, isn't it?
God damn it, Orphan.
Yeah, and then there's a stinger at the end.
Yeah, Shiva has come to town.
And it's not this weird looking... Yeah, it's not this weird looking New 52 one with the super long hair braid with a knife at the end of it. Huh?
I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah, I didn't.
I think I just wiped that from my memory, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Mal wakes up in a cold sweat at night thinking about New 52
it's
Shiva.
Proper Lady Shiva. And it looks like she's part of the League of Shadows.
So, actually, I mean, that's my biggest complaint, isn't it?
Yeah, if I'm going to make a complaint about the issue, is, you know, it's extra price. It was $4 instead of $3. It was bigger. The only complaint I'd have about the whole thing is that it says it's the League of Shadows prologue, and honestly, I mean, Shiva might be connected to it, but it really doesn't feel.
Is it? And that's the thing. It's like, yeah, they wanted the exercise issue not because it's a prologue, because it's $9.50, and I respect that.
Oh yeah, that's the reason. Yeah, that's why it's a big issue.
And that's fine, but did it have to pretend that it was something else to sell it? Just go, we're having an issue about Orphan, and that's going to be cool.
I don't think it is to sell it. I think there's just this weird thinking, and I don't agree with this, but I think there's this weird thinking where, it's $9.50, it has to be an important issue, and I think them saying, it's just a little story about Orphan, standalone thing, doesn't feel important enough to say, it's the $9.50. You say that,
but I remember when you had during the New 52, you had the Tale of 27, and it was just a collection of stories. There wasn't one big thing.
That's true.
No, I never even finished it.
It's true, but it was a bigger issue. There was a lot more stories, and secondly, one of them was part of the next arc. Like they did put one in.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a big thing either. It was just another.
Look, I'm not saying they have done this all the time. It's always been their thinking, but I'm thinking that's what their thinking was here.
Maybe
I don't mind.
It just
it was only
feels
$1
like...
more. If it was more than $1 more, then I have more issues.
Oh yeah,
it was well worth the price. I'm just saying
it was double.
Feels like it was the marketing department have gone, let's just call it this so we can get more people to buy it. Is that's how it feels to me? It feels a bit cheap in that sense.
But this Orphan story was great. Shiva, of course, there's all like sort of like, is she Orphan's mother kind of thing, and I'm sure will play into it.
It won't, because like there was the editor's note, Batman and Robin Eternal.
Yep.
There was the whole thing. The person she addressed as mother was the person who trained her as an assassin and adopted. There was a whole family of them. It was all in that story.
Okay, I never read Eternal.
Yeah, but
I'm still not ruling it out.
Birth mother, right? We don't know who her birth mother is.
No, but whenever she talks about mother and being an orphan, the reason she picked that name was in reference to that story.
Well, that's fine, Kurt, but I still don't think it rules out that Shiva's going to turn around and say, "I'm your real mother."
Maybe.
I actually
mean in terms of this story beat for what it was in here.
Honestly,
with that.
I think it feels more likely that she's going to turn around and say that. It feels like a proper story beat they're going to play.
Maybe.
Thoughts on it, Matt?
None.
Cool. All right. So yeah, that was the first story. Really good, really fantastic. That was worth the price of admission alone. Honestly. Yeah. Really good. We got a second story here with Azrael and Batwing. Oh, actually, just one small tidbit, actually. Just a couple of plot points. I don't want to go into them, really. But we've got the mayor of Gotham saying that he wants to turn over a new leaf and work with Batman, which led to a cool thing where it leads to a cool thing where he thinks he sees something in the shadows, and it's Orphan, of course, before Batman goes and talks to her. And then the other point is that Clayface is deteriorating. And if he's in his Clayface, his mind gets jumbled, and if he's in his like human form, his DNA is getting ripped apart. So either way, he's on like a ticking time bomb. Hopefully they fix him, because I'm enjoying him on the team. Yeah. But I just wanted to point out that's ongoing.
That was what Batwing's telling him. Is he's like, well, I'm screwed either way. He goes, well, no, we'll figure out a way. This is just temporary. Like the point of this was to get the metal band small enough so it's not noticeable.
Yeah.
You know.
But of course, Clayface is like, hope, right? And I think that ties into how they're all feeling since Tim died.
Yeah.
So they're all in a bad place. They're all not feeling very hopeful, and that's pretty cool. But yeah, so the second story is basically, but I mean, both these last little stories are both kind of setups for future things. But this first one is Azrael and Batwing, and Azrael's sort of using the mudroom to train. And
it has never felt more like an X-Men comic than this story.
Yeah,
you have Bat Sentinels. Like, I feel like Tynion has heard us say this and went, "Oh, he has one X-Men. All right, I gotcha."
Well, he's like, "Well, the other guys are doing X-Men right now, so I might as well."
Right? Yeah. We'll give them a mud room. We'll have Bat Sentinels. We'll do it our way.
So the point of this is basically to set up the idea that the suit, the
Suit of Sorrows.
Yeah, the Suit of Sorrows from the Order of St. Dumas. It's basically got an artificial intelligence inside it. It's like...
That's weird.
Evangelical artificial intelligence is the phrase that Batwing uses, which I thought sounded really cool. Funny, but cool. And basically he's questioning, well, are you not worried that this can take over, that you're sort of, just giving yourself to it and letting it sort of do its bidding? And he says, well, wouldn't they eventually just give it its own body? And then we get the last page, which is, oh, shucks, there's a robot that's going to take the suit and be evil and...
I really hope it has like religious beliefs, because an AI like with the AI beliefs itself with religious beliefs will be so interesting if it plays on that story beat.
For me, with AI, where there's without a doubt a creator of it, right? So I would like it.
But if it plays on that, Yeah, but obviously because the Order of Sentinels is always played as a religious order in general, I want to play into that angle as well. I think it'd be really interesting.
What if the robot's religious, right?
Both.
But then when it finds out the person that created him is just a guy, he gets upset and it like shatters his whole world.
He becomes the internet and he's just an atheist AI that's just telling people they're dumb for what they believe. like it's the Christopher Hitchens bot.
So presumably this might be the arc after League of Shadows. We're going to get an AI sort of.
That would make sense. I'm down for it.
Yeah, that seems like fun. It makes sense that one would be a bit more Azrael focused after we've had focuses on various other characters.
Well, and I like the conversation between him and Batwing, because Batwing is basically their Tony Stark, and he's all technology, and I need reason, and physics doesn't lie. There's no belief in physics. They're there whether you like them or not.
But amusingly, he's arguing to Azrael that, wait, this Ultron thing might be a bad idea.
Yeah. And then he's just like, well, you guys took in, that's what he said, the evangelical AI, to where it's just going to follow orders, right? Like, at least with Azrael as a soldier, he can, as he had said, he had overcame the suit and its AI, and, once it's shattered that I forget his exact wording, but he had broken through to a new level, right, and put trust in himself.
A higher plane of being or existence.
Yeah, there you go. And a robot can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, it can, but it's programmed to do what it is supposed to do. So I think it leaves for a lot of interesting questions going forward. Especially you would expect in a Batman comic, because they're usually the, street level crime, like, gritty.
That's what I liked about the whole Night of the Monster Men. It was taking the Bat family and putting them into an ordeal that was, oh crap, this is kaiju, how do they deal with this? So how do they deal with Killer Robot?
Just an EMP, innit?
That'll be a quick issue. Batman just fires an EMP. Done.
It's like between this and the last Action Comics arc, I just feel people at DC are going, hey, we see what you're doing, Marvel. This is how you do it.
Okay, so the last story in the book, which was the shortest, was only about 4 pages, I think, something like that. And it was
that's my favorite part.
And it was set during one of the previous arcs, because Tim's still around, and Tim basically pulls Batman into his sort of blocked room so that there's no Robin's Nest, so there's no signals, there's no one's listening, just us, because he wants to ask Batman some questions. And he basically, this is just a nice bit of like connecting to everything that's going on right now, where he's like, okay, you've got Jason sort of in the criminal underworld with eyes in there. You've got Dick going into this raptor and all this stuff. He's got his eyes on all this.
In 2 different organizations. You got him taken care of.
Yeah.
2 different organizations. And he's like, yeah, and now you're building this Bat family. I mean, he doesn't even mention that what Batgirl's up to, but so you've got built in this Bat family, you've got the Justice League.
And mentions Damien going with the
Titans,
Because I'm sure you put that seed in his head.
Yeah, new Teen Titans. And he's like, what's next? Your own private Justice League? He's like, that's good timing, because that just came out this week. That's really good timing.
And I love that Batman probably went, that's not a bad idea. I like that Tim's the one Robin that is going to call him out on all his BS.
Well,
also
keep him honest.
I was going to say, he mentions Duke as well, how he's trained to be something else. It's like, well, what is Duke's role here? What is he actually doing?
He has to be someone else.
Lark.
He has to be something else.
Shut up. Shut up.
Bloodlust? This is the bloodlust type thing?
There's going to be some bloodlust if he doesn't shut up.
So basically, he's like, so Batman, what the hell are you preparing for? You're preparing for some sort of war. What's got you shaking? Now, the actual text at the bottom says dark days are coming. That sounds like it's teasing the Batman event for the summer. But the whole time as he was talking, I was thinking, this is Rebirth. Because he knows about this button, because there's some sort of existential threat that he doesn't know about, he is strengthening up his entire ranks in every way he possibly can. He's got 2 Justice League teams. He's got the Bat Family team. He's got Dick doing this. He's got Jason doing that. This is one of those things where Batman preparing for everything. Yeah, and it works. It works with his character. It's like, so there's the threat of Manhattan. He doesn't know it's Manhattan, but he knows there's a threat. He knows there's something big. So he's like, oh crap, we need a Teen Titans. We need a JLA. We need everything working at full capacity. It's almost like, alright, so they might have taken time from us. They might have made us weaker. it's time to get strong. So he's doing everything he can to build everything up, and
it makes it feel like when Manhattan hits, everyone is going to come together for this.
Yeah,
because Batman's just going to call in everyone, and that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I can almost just see like it'll almost be like a Manhattan Batman scene, almost like with Rorschach, where Manhattan thinks he's got it all solved, and then it's the great moment where Batman gets to say, "Yeah, but I've prepared," and he just like the army arrives, you know. Like I almost want Manhattan to say, "You in what army?" and then just have like the both Justice
Tynion
Leagues
leading the charge in the Teen Titans.
Everyone
Tynion leads that charge. In fact, I would say that he wants to be at his dad's side when this is going down.
He definitely does.
And he's got to tell him, "No, you don't know what you're messing with." He's like, "Yeah, whatever. I'm an all gold tool, too." You know.
I know it's exciting. It brings together all the books that Batman's involved in, and it kind of in a weird way. You know, because I remember when Batman was first announced to be part of the JLA.
Except for All-Star. No one cares about All-Star.
Well, technically, Duke and the Weapon Wheels kind of...
I don't read that, so I guess I missed that.
Well, you're missing out on some great Francavilla art, so you should be reading
But, do you know when the first announced Batman's going to be in the JLA, and we're like, oh, okay, sure. He doesn't really... It feels like he's different. I mean, I guess he's putting the team together, but it feels like, oh, Batman's in a lot of stuff. We don't really need him, especially Matt. Matt's gone on his tirade.
But now it feels like there's a purpose.
Yeah, it feels like, all right, well, now it kind of makes sense if this is tying into everything that Batman's preparing everything for.
It's less why is Batman on the team, but now it's, oh, this is why the team exists.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is completely different.
So that's cool. That's really cool. That's last little 3 pages was just a nice little tease of everything in the universe.
That. Like, all the other 2 stories were really good, but I really enjoyed this one. Just for
I just like having Tim again, like on.
Yeah, well, that too.